Recap in minutes. Today we will be going through an action, crime, and drama movie from 1999, entitled Voroshilov's Sharpshooter. There will be spoilers ahead in this video, so chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with an old man, Ivan Afonin, playing chess with his friends on the corner of the street. He is having fun with them while his granddaughter, Katya Afonin, comes into the street. Ivan is a World War II veteran and is her only family, and she lives with him in this small town. In a nearby flat, three bored young boys, Vadim Pashutin, local businessman Boris Chukhanov, and student Igor Svrigin live. They kill time by designating Wednesdays as a day of sexual gratification and hiring a professional girl. On this particular Wednesday, they fail to acquire one and decide to resort to a random female passerby instead. The boys are rowdy and spoiled, and hit on the neighborhood girls with no fear of consequences. When she comes near her neighborhood, they see her and they think of a way to lure the girl upstairs. Vadim says he knows her, as she was his classmate in high school. The guys ask him to call her to their room. Vadim understands why his friends want Katya in the room, so he also joins hands with them. He rushes downstairs with Igor and asks her to come with them for a second. He tells her that it is his friend's birthday today, and he is gloomy because no one is going to sing a song for him. He says she can cheer him up by coming to their apartment and joining the party. She says she really does not have enough time, as her grandfather is waiting for her. Vadim and Igor immediately kneel down to beg her to come with them for just a little time. Now she agrees to accompany them, but only for 5 minutes. Then they took her to their apartment, where they were drinking a lot and the table was full of empty bottles. Katya becomes uncomfortable watching those bottles. Boris offers her a glass of beer to drink. Vadim tells them she was a very good singer in the school, so Igor requests her to sing a song for their birthday boy. When she begins singing, Vadim secretly poured a shady liquid into the cup that she didn't find out about. When she completes the song and the drink, she gets up and tries to walk outside, but she feels dizzy and sits back again. After some time, the boys take her to another room and surround her. Soon, the three men revealed their true nature to her. Their intentions are finally clear to her, but Katya can do nothing to defend herself. Boris pushes her to the bed and tears her clothes, while the other guys hold her down. Next, something indescribable happens for multiple hours. When the boys get bored, and she has given up on trying to resist, they finally let her go. Vadim gives her some money and says they will meet alone again, but she is so traumatized that she does not say anything to him. The girl threw the money on the road and went home desperately, where her grandpa was cutting the bread. She stumbled back home and closed the door before she dared to cry. Seeing the niece crying beside the door, he quickly ran over to comfort her. He asks her what happened, but she could not say anything. The girl kept crying and not answering. Ivan saw the bruises on his granddaughter's legs, and he instantly understood everything. A few moments later, the girl finally told him what happened. Ivan pretends to be strong and helps his granddaughter back to her room. He then grabs the axe and leaves the apartment to chop up those three assaulters. But just as he got downstairs, his neighbor Jack sees that Ivan is angry. He rushed to stop Ivan and asked what had happened. Jack told Ivan to calm down after listening to what happened to the girl. After that, Grandpa immediately reported it to the police. Moments later, some policemen barge into the apartment and arrest the assaulters. The inspector beats the criminals, but they yell that they didn't do anything wrong. The three men were so scared that they peed their pants. The inspector takes them to separate rooms and threatens Boris to put them in prison with murderers, who will sexually violate them as they did to the girl. This scares him and he admits that they brought her into their apartment and assaulted her. The inspector was ready to take the men back to the police station. A junior officer also informs him that the criminals conduct a females' day every Wednesday and have misused many women. Every neighbor has confirmed that the boys are a bunch of perverts who need to be imprisoned immediately. At the same time, when the inspector was documenting his confessional statement and the bedsheet as evidence, Vadim's father and police chief, Colonel Nikolai, arrived at the apartment. He asks the inspector about the incident and uses his power and handles the matter on his own. However, the inspector claims that the criminals have already confessed their crime, and the officers have found a sheet with the girl's blood on it. These are enough to give justice to the poor girl and take the boys into custody. This infuriates the colonel and forces the inspector to bring the criminals to his office. He walks away for the time being but is determined to free his son. So the boys went to the police station to go through the process and were released by the colonel. The next day, grandfather Ivan wakes up and is worried when he cannot find Katya anywhere. Katya spent all day in the toilet washing her face with tears, and says she cannot look at herself in the mirror. This breaks Ivan's heart and he can do nothing to make her feel better. When he asks her to call a nurse for her checkup, she refuses him, saying that she does not want anyone to know what happened to her. He reveals that the entire neighborhood knows what happened to her, as the police raided their apartment yesterday. She gets horrified when she learns that all her life she'll be known as the girl who was assaulted. The nurse comes to check on her and tells them that she is weak and she needs rest for some days. After some time, Ivan gets a phone call from the police station that informs him that all the criminals have been set free, and their charges are washed away because of the influence of the colonel. This infuriates him and he thinks about doing something on his own. The next day, they go to the prosecutor's office to file an appeal against their release. When she meets him, he does not take her seriously and laughs at her case. The prosecutor was actually bribed by the police chief Colonel Nikolai. He accuses her of being too friendly with the guys and believes that she went to their apartment on purpose. She deliberately tried to develop relations with them so one of them could marry her. Katya keeps crying listening to his rough talks, feels helpless, and has no will to fight for her justice. When she comes back home, she tells her grandfather that she wants to forget everything. Ivan could not digest it. She went back to a worse state of mind and even tried to leave the world several times. Ivan could only keep persuading his granddaughter and promise that he would get justice for her. The next moment, he takes all the military medals and goes to his old friend and a judge to ask for his help. He tells him all the matter. The judge says he should have raised his granddaughter better, so she wouldn't turn into a prostitute or go hanging on with the boys. Ivan shouts at him for being useless on a big chair. He cursed him, slammed the door in anger, and left his office. Now he goes to visit a real estate office and takes them to show them his winter house. He sells that house for some money and plans to use the money to take revenge. In the next scene, when he returns home, Katya tells him that Vadim's father had come to meet her, and he gave her an envelope of money. Ivan snatches that envelope and runs to Nikolai's house. He throws the envelope in his face. After some time, Katya informs him that her aunt has left them the keys to her apartment to take care of her birds. Ivan goes to the said apartment and inspects that the boys' apartment is right in front of them. With years of shooting experience, he immediately realized that this was the best place to shoot. He thinks like this and goes to the market and meets an unofficial weapon seller. He tries to sell him pistols and revolvers, but he asks for a rifle. The dealer seems nervous and says he does not have anything like that. When he is about to leave, another seller approaches him and says that he overheard his conversation. He claims to have the stuff that he wants and is willing to sell it for the right price. They take him to a secret warehouse where the sellers show him several guns. A specific sniper rifle Ivan liked and he buys it. When he returns home, Ivan sees that Katya's mother has returned from abroad with a new boyfriend. She gives them gifts and seems genuinely happy to be back. She also urges her daughter to forget what happened and live life happily. Moments later, she tells Ivan that she needs some money. Ivan figures out that she only returned to ask for money and not for Katya. When he refuses to give her the money, she threatens to take money from Vadim's father instead. Ivan gets angry and asks her to leave the house and orders her to never show her face again, while he secretly transfers the rifle to the aunt's apartment. The next morning he goes to his neighborhood friends playing chess in a park. And when he sees the boys entering their apartment, he goes to Katya's aunt's apartment. Ivan found the right spot and pointed the gun at the three men. The boy in the middle was holding the champagne between his legs. The moment he pulled out the cork, Ivan pulled the trigger. He shoots Vadim right in the middle of the legs, castrating him instantly. He didn't want to kill them directly, he wanted them to live unhappily. Then Ivan quickly picks up the bullet cover that had fallen on the ground. After that, he hides the gun and runs back to his friends acting like nothing happened. The ambulance arrived soon after. But when they found out it was the bad guy who was injured, they all clapped their hands. Because the case involved the son of the police chief, so the police chief immediately came to the scene to investigate. After he found the bullet hole, he felt something was wrong. Meanwhile, the police inspector comes across Ivan and assesses that he is behind the shooting, since he has the perfect reason to seek revenge. The inspector knows that sooner or later Nikolai will come for Ivan. After some days, Ivan again goes to Katya's aunt's place. Now he targets Igor, who is inside of his car listening to a song. Ivan shoots the car's gas tank, making it explode. Igor runs outside with fire burning on his body. People nearby rush to save him, but the accident causes the entire lower half of his body to get severe burns. Ivan stood calmly in the crowd watching him in pain. The police chief Nikolai comes to the scene, and is sure that it is some sort of retaliation and that his son is the next target. He tells Vadim to be careful and barricade the house because the shooter might find him anywhere. This scares Vadim and makes him paranoid when he hears that someone is coming to kill him. He fidgeted, moved a potted plant for cover, and closed the curtains. While on the other hand, the inspector goes to Katya's house to meet Ivan, but he is not in the home. Katya discloses that he often goes to the 14th floor in her aunt's house to take care of the birds. The inspector realizes that said apartment is right opposite Boris's apartment. The inspector secretly pockets the keys to Katya's aunt's apartment to check if his suspicion is true. At the same time, Nikolai and his fellow corrupt policemen come to Ivan's house with a search warrant. They are sure that he was behind the shootings and want to search the house for the weapon. However, on searching the entire apartment, they find nothing. Just then Katya's aunt knocks on the door asking for her keys. The policeman decided to check her apartment as well. Ivan is nervous because he has hidden the rifle in her place. When they go to her apartment, the police search every corner and still cannot find any weapon. The chief grabs Ivan's collar in a frenzy and furiously asks Ivan for the last time to not harm his son, to which Ivan replies that something has already happened to him. Nikolai suspects something and runs to check Vadim. Ivan clarifies that he has done nothing to Vadim, but the crime he did has done something to him. When Nikolai reaches his home, he knocks on the door asking Vadim to open it. But Vadim shoots his own father through the door thinking that he's a killer. It actually shows that after being frightened for many days, he has lost his sanity. The police officers bring a psychiatrist for him, but the hopes of his recovery are low. The movie ends when the inspector invites Ivan to his house, and tells him that he had confiscated the rifle before the police went to Ant's apartment. He also shocks him that he knows that the boys were at fault, and that's why he lets Ivan go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Recap in minutes for more videos like this, and help the channel grow.